Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Pauper at the request of Patreon subscriber Jormund, and this is no win condition Dimir teachings. This is a classic, and by classic I mean like 1997-ass control deck. It's full of counter spells, removal spells, draw spells, and damn near no way to win the game. The only way to actually win a game in the main deck is doing 20 with Heavencar's Justice. This deals 2 damage to each creature and player, and it has buyback 3, so for 7 mana, you could deal 2 damage to your opponent, and you do that 20 times. Or, you can just get them to tap out. And when I say tap out, I mean that in the Ultimate Fighting Championship sense, not in the Magic the Gathering sense. They could just give up when they realize that they are in trouble. They have no win conditions left in their deck. You've killed all of their Tolarian Terrors or whatever it is. You have a handful of cards to their nothing, and they just don't want to play anymore. The deck is built around mystical teachings. Search your library for an instant, put it or a card with flash, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle, and this has flashback for 6. There are the full 4 copies of mystical teachings in the deck, and teachings can, in this deck, access counterspell, removal spell, and draw spell. Those are the 3 things. It also can access graveyard hate / life gain. If that matters, there's fog. It's a fun toolbox of just stuff to stop what your opponent's doing. The other backbone of the deck is Campfire. 1 mana artifact. For 1 and tap it, you gain 2 life. And then for 2 and tap it, exile this. Put all commanders you own from the command zone and from your graveyard into your hand. Then shuffle your graveyard and your library. Obviously the commander stuff is nonsense, but shuffle your graveyard into your library is the important one. We've got 3 of these. We could go through our library 3 times, and hopefully the opponent can only do it once, because that's how we win. In the sideboard, there are 2 Murmuring Mystics that help you stabilize and actually turn the corner in certain types of matchups, but in the main deck, it's Heavencar's Justice or them giving up. Jormund also gave me a series of bounties for this. There is a bonus bounty if I 5-0 the league. There's a bonus bounty for going 2-0 against any of the following decks: Red Madness, Rally Red, Mono Red Pingerburn. And I can collect that up to twice if I beat 2 of those decks 2-0. Blowing out Spy combo with main deck Crypt Incursion is a bounty. Using Lose Focus to counter multiple copies of a replicated spell, multiple copies of a storm spell, or multiple spells of a Cascade Chain. That is all 1 bounty. Just hit multiple things with Lose Focus. And the final bounty is Win by Milling, which is the primary win con of the deck. I think that one's going to be the easiest of all of them. I expect these games to go long. I'm going to try to click fast, use my MTGO shortcuts, make sure I don't time out while I'm winning games, or not winning games, as the case may be. Let's do it. This is Dimir teachings that can't win the game. I'm on the draw in round 1. I'm going to keep my hand. I have Counterspell up starting turn 2. Which unfortunately on the draw is very late. Okay, we're against Heroic. This is a matchup where I would love to find an Innocent Blood sooner than later. I do play a lot of those. The Darknesses are quite good in this matchup as well. Hyena Umbra. Alright, my opponent has a 2-power creature with first strike. If enchanted creature would be destroyed. Okay, that does not protect them from sacrifice, which my deck is full of. And they don't have a second land drop. Alright, cast down. This blows up the Hyena Umbra, but this one does work against Totem Armor. So I'm just going to hold up Counterspell if they get too rowdy, or Deduce if they don't. Okay. Just going into combat here. Alright, it's going to be a Deduce for me. They can cast some instant in response, get a +1 on their creature, solid footing. Okay. Oh. Hits with its butt. That's actually terrifying. Okay, Ponder. Please find an Edict or a Fog. Found 2 lands and a counterspell. I'm going to shuffle that. And I still have a counterspell. And my life total is a resource. The last point is the only one that matters. I have lots of ways to cook this thing. Homestead Courage. Put a +1 counter on target creature you control against Vig until end of turn. As long as enchanted creature has vigilance, it hits with its butt. Okay, so that's interesting. This is just +1/+1, and this is granting +2/+2. So this is going to hit me for 10 if this happens. I think this is worth a counterspell. Just don't have vigilance, maybe. Well, this is basically saving me 5 damage. If they have a plains and get that out of the graveyard, that's bad news. But gaining 5 life seems pretty good. Lose focus. Okay, I am going to have to probably counter that Homestead Courage out of the graveyard again here. I'm leaving up 2 counter spells. If they only have 1 spell, then I get to crack my clue. Hyena Umbra. Okay, that is not Homestead Courage. I think I'm going to draw a card here and see if I can spike an Edict. Ah, easy game, easy game. And just like that, we went from bleeding out to completely stable. Nice. Okay, all those things, including the 2 Umbras that are meant to protect, that are gone. And we are fully driving at this point. And there's an Innocent Blood. Hook it to my veins. Don't shuffle away that Innocent Blood. Hit my land drop. And pass with a grip full of action. A Dillo. This has Ward 1. Okay. This gets +X+O for 4 mana, where X is its toughness. Are you kidding? Why do I care about that? Alright, I will draw for turn, play my land, and simply pass. I can easily pay for Ward off of this Dillo to cast it down. They're a lot of mana away from doing the toughness thing. Cool. And then I'm going to end step Behold the Multiverse. Benevolent Blessing. As this enters, choose a color. Has protection from the chosen color. Okay. I could just lose focus this and save my Innocent Blood for when they commit more. I guess I'm into that. This also uses my mana in a spot where I'm about to refill my hand. I do not want Dimir Aqueduct. And do I want Cast Down? I don't think I need that either. Campfire. We're in business. And Teachings. Hell yeah. Alright, we're camping up now. Benevolent Blessing having Flash is something I should show at least the bare amount of respect for. It would be embarrassing to lose to a removal spell in this spot, so I'm just not going to do that. I probably could have afforded to cycle one of these. Lorien Revealed. Okay, they don't want to play anymore. I dare say this matchup is very good for me with the amount of removal that I play. The Darkness probably comes in. Steel Sabotage could be split with a Null, which would actually be really good in this matchup where Steel Sabotage doesn't do anything, but Sabotage can bounce things that are already down in Affinity, and Affinity is a much more common matchup than Mono White Bogles is. I probably want my Murmuring Mystic here. I'm going to bring this in most matchups, I'm just letting you know. Suffocating Fumes could stop a go wide strat, but they seem to be very interested in their toughness in this deck with the Dillos and the Trailblazers. I'm going to cut Fumes. Muddle the Mixture can tutor for Diabolic Edict. That could be really important, even though I don't expect a lot of instant and sorceries out of my opponent. I'm actually going to shave at least 1 Muddle. Crypt Incursion. In the passive life gain is not a 0, but Graveyard Hate kind of is a 0. Though we did see that flashback spell. Rotten Reunion can exile any card. Crypt Incursion only hits creatures. There's also that white aura that has Escape. I don't know the name of it right now, but I know that card exists. There is some graveyard stuff going on in their deck, but I'd rather them not have any creatures to do graveyard stuff with than to not have a graveyard. Okay, my hand is heckin' nuts, but it does only have the Bojuka Bog for mana in it. Are these dice I want to roll? Opponent kept 7. You can foretell for colorless. There are only 17 lands in the deck. It relies heavily on Dimir Aqueduct. I'm going to mulligan this. Right, I will keep and get rid of Justice. That one's a long way off. I liked my first hand a lot more than I liked this one, I'm not going to lie. Trailblazer. Mystic. Alright, we got something to do here. Ponder. I'm looking for removal and black sources. None of the above. Shuffle that. The other Mystic. Game on. Lorien Revealed can be a black source. I have Swamps in my deck. Underground Seas. Sentinel's Eyes. That's the card I was talking about. So this grants Vigilance, which, as we've learned from that Steady Footing card, could be massive amounts of damage. Ethereal Armor. That's also massive amounts of damage. Already coming in for 5 on turn 2. Wish I had an Innocent Blood. I have a Cast Down. That could be useful next turn. I'm going to counterspell to make sure I don't die, and I'll cycle Lorien Revealed if I don't counter a spell. Winterweave Aerialist. Ward 2, this creature is flying as long as... Alright, well, I'm going to counter that. Ward 2 is a lot of ward, and that makes my edicts worse. Alright, ripping Basic Swamp here would be nice. Alright, challenge level impossible, but that's okay. I'm going to have to tap out for a turn and just eat whatever damage comes my way. Grab one of my Underground Seas and pass. Moment of truth. This is the turn that matters. Dead. Alright, GG's. Yeah, that is 11 damage coming in that I can't respond to. Was I supposed to go to 5 on that? I don't think I was supposed to keep the 7, and maybe on the draw, the 6 is also unreliable. Okay. This is the deck that I'm going to present. Okay, I'm going to keep this, even though this Innocent Blood doesn't kick in right away. Most of the black sources in the deck enter tapped, so that's just always the cost of doing business. If this was the Contaminated Aquifer instead of the Aqueduct, I would be happier, but it's okay. Opponent mulled to 6. Probably going to cycle Lorien Revealed. Dillo. I'm going to get Aquifer. And yeah, I guess I'm just going to play the Aquifer here. Though that doesn't get around Ward, but it does play Innocent Blood. Maybe I was supposed to Aqueduct. My Aqua theme deck is coming after me, but cycling Lorien Revealed for basic island does get around Ward. Underweave Aerialist. Okay, multiple Ward creatures. I'm going to get a basic island with this one. Alright, well, I'm going to Innocent Blood. That's happening. They'll probably lose the Dillo. And then I'm going to Aqueduct to pick up Island. Having double black available for the Justice, and like if they give this Wonderweave Artist hexproof or is something other than stats, the Justice could sweep it. It sucks that I have both of these in my hand though. I kind of want 0 of them, but I have 2. Ward 2 is so much ward. If they just pile stats on this, I could cast it down and we're good. Alright, Sandstone Bridge. Target creature gets +1 in Vigil end of turn. You got it. Benevolent Blessing. Protection from the chosen color. Yikes. Yep, that is what I was worried about. My whole hand is blank now. Even the sweeper doesn't pick that off. Oh, I need an Edict or a blue blocker. I'm going to cast Ponder before making my land drop. Counterspell and Darkness. I think I will eventually want all of these cards. And passing the turn. I still have a bunch of Edicts in the deck to deal with this thing. I can kill anything else they play. Ethereal Armor. I do actually think that one is worth countering. That's worth so much damage. Alright, they had 2 of them. That would have been pretty brutal. Do they have 3 of them? Solid footing. Okay, so this is a 6. With or without Vigilance, it's 6 damage. I have Deduce. Deduce draws Darkness. I cracked the clue. I have another card. I'm going to save the Darkness for a turn where I am dead. And if I'm at 2, this Avantgar's Justice is just not even castable. I'm at 5. End step. Deduce. Clue. Please find Innocent Blood, Diabolic Edict, any of the above. Yeah. Yeah. And a backup blood in case they have a flash creature. Did we do it? God, I love the card Innocent Blood. It makes me so happy. I don't have a draw engine online right now. If they have a 3rd threat, and they don't, they just don't want to play. Heck yeah. This is the 2-color control experience, the blue-white or blue-black experience. There's blue cards that are good at one thing, and there's black cards that are good at another thing, and this is a black card matchup. And luckily, in the games that I won, I drew the correct amount of the correct black cards, and some extra black cards I didn't even want. On to the next one. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2. I need better mana than this. I'm going to mulligan. Here we go. Island, Ponder, Keep. Putting a card to the bottom here is interesting. Suffocating Fumes is going to be a 0 or a 10, depending on what matchup we're in. And I could bottom it just to reduce variance, or I could bottom Ponder and take the variance that if we're in a Suffocating Fumes matchup, I have the best card in my deck in my hand. I'm not going to do that, but it was worth thinking about. Ponder, cast down, Behold, Counterspell. I'm actually going to shuffle this, hit a Behold the Multiverse anyway. That is the only one of those, but that's fine. I kind of just want to hit land drops. I have a bunch of card draw, card selection already, and I would like lands to cast them. Ancient Den, Thraben Inspector, okay. Ponder. Contaminated Aquifer is a land. Evankar's Justice would be good versus a white bounce deck. Alright, Justice, Aquifer, Counterspell, don't shuffle, play Aqueduct, Island, and pass. Okay, they are Orzhov. Core Skyfisher is going to pick up the Inspector. And am I going to cast Counterspell this turn? I would rather develop here. I could deduce or foretell Behold. I think I want to foretell this. There we go. That's in the foretell bank. It's a future reload. I think it's safe to tap out on turn 3 versus this deck. Yeah, Thraben Inspector. I wasn't going to counterspell that anyway, so having mana up doesn't make a lot of sense. Fanatical Offering, sure. Okay, now I have Justice in my hand, and I'm going to pass. Life total is a resource. Going to have to stabilize eventually. Attacking me for 3. Am I getting Okiba ganged? That's fucked up. Oh no. In the main deck, this card's unbeatable. Alright, well, I'm going to Behold in response. I'm looking for cast down. Lose Focus, Island are not cast down. Hit Darkness. Alright, that buys me a little bit of turn. This is when it deals combat damage to a player. Yikes. Alright, well, the ancient technology, the old stuff, sometimes the good stuff. And then I can Evankar's Justice to clear this thing. Just got to do what we got to do here. Speaking of old school. Yikes, team. Bog you. Just in case. I don't know. Well, that was scary. Please don't have another one. Okay, just damage. Refurbish Familiar. What is Muddled Mixture Tutor? That could be helpful here. Not much is the answer. Alright, I'm going to discard. It is going to be Muddle. It's the worst counterspell, and I don't like it as a tutor. And I'm getting Familiared like crazy here, which is what happens. Okay, Foretelling Behold doesn't change anything. Like, that's the same as just casting it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not in great shape on damage either. I'm on a 2-turn clock. Core Skyfisher. Frustratingly a 2-3. Who can ever beat a 2-3? I'm at 6. Lembus is fine. Thraben Inspector was dead on board anyway. That doesn't change anything. I'm going to Behold the Multiverse in the end step. Campfire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This puts me to 8 life exactly. It is part of the long-term plan. I found a Teachings. I need a removal spell to go with this Campfire. We did it. Okay, Campfire is in play. And I'll pass the turn here. Fanatical Offering in the end step. This makes a map. I'm going to cast down one of the Skyfishers. And then gain my necessary 2 life. Cracking Clues. This is why these blue-based Teachings decks aren't really a big part of the Pauper metagame anymore. It's because basically all decks can outgrind them, and the artifact core, the Lembus, the Core Skyfisher, the Cryogen Relic, all that stuff is quite good at just doing what these decks want to be doing. Swamp. Alright, so Teachings, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 2 mana left to Teachings with. I could get Darkness this turn. There's 1 more in the main deck. Gotta be comfortable playing from behind here. And while I'm not comfortable, I am playing from behind. Blue token cracked. Teachings. I'll get Darkness. Fog, yeah. Gain my 2 life. And then I get Glint Hawk, Refurbished Familiar to discard a counterspell. Hawk. Familiar. Counterspell's gone. No time for that. Another Hawk. Alright. Last counterspell's gone. Mystical Teachings, we're back. I'm out of Darknesses. I guess I'm just gonna deduce here and concede. Okay, you got me. Too many things. Murmuring Mystic, definitely part of this plan. Steel Sabotage, collapsing their engine, bouncing their lands. I don't know if I want all 4. They're not quite the full affinity experience, but it is good. Suffocating Fumes is not good. I think in general, counterspells are not great against this deck. I think I'm going to turn Lose Focuses. I'm going to side grade those into Steel Sabotages. Justice actually can kill a large number of things that they play. They're pretty good at going wide against Edicts, but you do have to kill their stuff. Like, Justice could kill all the Thraben Inspectors and then Innocent Blood, the Core Skyfisher. Though Justice is a non-bow with Murmuring Mystic. Crypt Incursion. A Burst of Life could turn this game, but Graveyard is not really what they're doing. And I have the Campfires to gain life. And I could cut a Teachings since I'm making room for this other stuff. Oh, there's 3 Beholds. I think I said there were 2 in the last one of the games where I drew it. Do I want the extra Darkness? Not really. All right, Darkness is out. Let's do it. Maxed out on Steel Sabotage. I will keep this hand and play Aquifer first. There's nothing I could ponder into that would matter on turn 1, and having 2 mana on turn 2 could matter a lot. Ponder, Multiverse, Counterspell, Bojuka Bog. I'm good on lands. I don't care about Bog. I could hit the Aqueduct this turn and be showing Counterspell next. Removal plus counter is obviously pretty solid. I just don't want this Bojuka Bog. All right, I'm going to shuffle this. And now that my next land is lined up, I could ponder again now. Keep the velocity going. Okay, I do actually like having access to this much removal this early. Blood Fountain. Okay, this sets up Refurbished Familiar. Yep, that guy's really good. I think I'm going to dump this island. So I have my next 2 land drops lined up with Aqueduct plus whatever Aqueduct picks up. I am also drawing another removal spell. All right, I'm going to dump the island. And then I'm going to Edict my opponent and play Aqueduct. All right, here we go. And Refurbished Familiar is a beating on anyone trying to play classic blue counterspell control. Relic of Progenitus, okay. Fair enough. That does blow out my Campfire plan. Whereas Basilica is going to pick up Vault of Whispers. Okay, how do I want to play this? I think I want to get the Campfire involved. And I'm going to Foretell Behold. I don't have anything else to do. Let's do this. Poking me with Relic of Progenitus is fine. Eviscerator's Insight. Sacking their blood token. Alright, nothing happened. Lucky. I'll gain some life. Steel Sabotage, I like it. I'm going to cycle Lorien to hit my land drop. And does this have to be untapped? Yeah, that lets me camp, sabotage, and cast down or Behold. Blue token popped. Relic gets my Ponder. I am netting life. The Thraben Inspector does not kill me. If they go for Okiba Gang, I have the cast down this time. Glint Hawk, okay. Steel Sabotage can zap the Blood Fountain on the way back down. I was worried about that, getting back Refurbished Familiar eventually, and now I'm not worried about that. End step. Behold. Let's go. There's the boy. Do I want this land drop? I don't think so. Land to the bottom. Mystic on top. Gain 2 life. Interesting. Okay, so running out Murmuring Mystic with no protection never feels great, but having 2 of them does feel pretty good. And I'm going to pass. You can have Ponder from the graveyard. Glint Hawk getting in. I cannot kill Okiba Gang right now. I didn't have it. It's probably a one of. There might be a second one in the sideboard. Glint Hawk has to pick up Relic or a land here. That's a pretty low value Glinthawk. Like it. Picked up Ancient Den. Skyfisher, this one can pick up Thraben Inspector at least. This one's actually value. Oh, they picked up a land as well. Interesting. Thraben Charm. Okay. That deals a bunch of damage to that guy. He's dead. Okay. Go to my turn. Steel Sabotage. I know 2 of the cards in their hand are artifact lands. Steel Sabotage gives Murmuring Mystic some action. I could spend this turn killing some of their stuff. I mean, Innocent Blood sucks, but it's always going to suck. So I will use that here. Probably lose the Thraben Inspector, but Inspector's the only bounce-worthy permanent they have. And I'm not going to invest the Mystic this turn. It doesn't matter. I can cast down Skyfisher, sabotage an artifact they might play, and gain 2 life. I'm so scared of Okiba Gang Shinobi. I'm just going to take the damage in combat, and I can cast down in the end step. Something's happening in response. All right, yep. That is a legal play. That was face up the whole time. Gain 2 life. A second fire. Let's go. All right, now I don't care about 2 Glinthawks. I've taken so much damage this game and I'm still at 18. This is fun. It's annoying, but it's fun. Lembas. I'm more worried about Refurbished Familiars than Lembas is. Though that is a good bounceable, which they didn't have before. We did it. Played around it. Counter target artifact spell, that one. That's 2 of those handled. Raven Inspector's in. And end of turn, gain 4 life. I'm out here camping. Darkness. Alright, well. Murmuring Mystic, it's your time to shine, big guy. This is my last one. This is all we get. Clue token cracked. Shit. We hate this guy. Alright, I think Darkness is worth more than Cast Down at this point. Yikes, team. Alright, we handled the first 2 Refurbished Familiars. They just had 3 of them in their top cards here. I guess I would rather fog them and make a bird than discard Darkness, because they do get to draw a card, because a card from 2024 just can't possibly be bad. All right, they're just ignoring Darkness and attacking anyway. Tithing Blade, played around it. Cool. Okay, so I'm actually very, very, very interested in drawing Justice, Evankar's Justice. I'll just have to behold the multiverse instead. Land Cast Down. I could just top this, kill Core Skyfisher. Right, I'm not super happy about that, but it does keep Murmuring Mystic rolling. Okay, they are attacking with Refurbished Familiar. That's exciting. Right, I'm going to cast down Core Skyfisher. They're going to fanatically offer it. Okay. Hitting me with the Relic. I'm going to double block Thraben Inspector and single block Familiar. Maybe this 1 damage wasn't worth getting blown out by Tithing Blade. Yeah, if they just play any bounce here, or a second blade. All right, now I'm in trouble. Blood Fountain. Oh, they're all coming back. Oh, this matchup feels so bad. And Pachukapog. I want to concede. I'll take 1 more draw step, but I think it's over. I was going to do an aggro campfire there just to get my Mystics back in, but that ship has sailed. Deduce again. All right, I cannot win this game. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 3. I'm going to keep this hand with tons of card draw. Very Miscreant. All right, they're getting low on me here. I will need black mana eventually. There's Contaminated Aquifer. I'll take that. That turns on the other half of the deck. That is going to be important versus Fairy Tempo. Brainstorm. Island, Fairy Seer. I take my 1. I draw the first of 2 Muddle the Mixtures. I am going to play Island here because I need to find a black card to unlock before any of that matters. They'll probably just hit me with the ninja this turn, and I can't lose focus that. But if they do have a spell, they could lose focus, and it is Ninja the Deep Hours. It's the good one, not the bad one, which is bad news for me. And step Deduce. Draws the other model. Aqueduct. Don't have time for that. And pass. This is a huge matchup for the sweeper. Even just killing the Ninja the Deep Hours would take a lot of pressure off, but I'm not really good at doing that either. Brainstorm can resolve. They're passing. All right, I'm going to Deduce in the end step. They're blatantly holding up Counterspell. I'll cast something that I mostly don't care if it gets countered or not. Justice is huge. I will play Aqueduct here, pick up the island that I just tapped. And do I want to use mana? Or do I want to hold up Muddle or lose focus? The thing I would use mana on is cracking a clue. What does transmuting here look like? I could transmute for cast down. All right. I'm going to transmute for cast down and then discard probably the other Dimir Aqueduct. This could at least create a situation where my opponent would use a counterspell on their own turn to protect their ninja, then I can wrap their whole board. We've drawn the same number of cards this game. We both have 45 cards left in our deck, except they've dealt 10 damage to me along the way and I've dealt 0. All right. Miscreant draws a card, busted. Fairy Miscreant always seems so fucked up when it actually draws a card. Oh wow, we're blue-red. Suddenly another color revealed. I gotta be thinking about Lightning Bolt now. I don't want to do. Discarded the Fairy Seer. That's the one we knew about. Here is Island. I could start a fight right now, which I am likely to win, over the ninja. I'm worried about a second ninja. Right, I'm going to start the fight right now over this ninja. Though, yeah, I'm so likely to win the fight, and the ninja is the thing that's roasting me. Okay, wow, that just happened. I wasn't expecting that. If they have another ninja, that makes sense. And I'm untapping into 6 mana where I can Justice with Counterspell up. All right, no ninja, I'm just at 8. Fairy Seer, you can have that. Okay, end step, Clue, another Counterspell. I can't take damage forever here. I have Justice with 1 Counterspell backing it up right now. I could Teachings for Darkness, spin the wheels a little bit. I think I want to spin the wheels a little bit. The problem with Justice is I'm at 2. I'm already dead. Mystical Teachings. I could also grab Suffocating Fumes here and double send next turn, like Fumes their board and then Justice their board. That's interesting. I would be at 5 when we start that sequence. All right, I will take the Fumes. I forgot that was there. I should have end stepped this. End step, crack a clue, another Counterspell. All right, let's see if we can mess them up twice. This puts me straight into bolt range. This is so stupid. And if they have 2 Counterspells, I'm mostly just dead anyway. Spellstutter Sprite resolves, and then Fumes in response and die to the other Counterspell. I think, yeah, I'm just like a turn too far behind the action here. Dead to any ninja, any lightning bolt. They're spending mana. All right, cool. Got me. Yeah, I've played a lot of the Fairy Ninja decks in my life, and I love playing against decks like this one that I'm playing right now because of how clunky and chunky it is while everything you do is so efficient. Things that I like in this matchup are probably Dispel can help me win important counter wars, even though a lot of their stuff are creatures. They do also have instants. Murmuring Mystic's a no-brainer. Crypt Incursion, not important here. Innocent Blood, middling. Diabolic Edict, definitely bad. But Innocent Blood could at least happen on curve and chew up a ninja. Muddle the Mixture seems mediocre as it does. And Teaching's just kind of clunky. I do want to max out on my sweepers, though. We did see red mana, but no red cards. I don't think I want to bring in my blue blast to counter their red blast. Dispel does that too. That's the wrong one land to start with, even with the help of Lorien Revealed. Mulligan this. Yikes. Alright, we're going to 5. Here we go. Keep this one. And I'm going to put 2 islands to the bottom. Opponent took a mulligan as well, not to 5. Fairy Seer's in. If I draw a different land, I'm going to cast a Deuce here. Oh, even better. Use my mana right on curve. My opponent definitely knows what I drew this turn, but that's okay. And Campfire is actually a huge difference because it washes out the nickel and dime bullshit. Relic of Progenitus, okay. People like bringing that card in against me, it seems. How do I want to use my mana? I mean, I'm going to Ponder. And, okay. Finding the Lorien's actually okay. I don't shuffle, and then this lets me camp plus cycle. It didn't have 2 mana to ninja me last turn, and they do now. Not getting ninja'd. Anytime I don't get ninja'd is a good day. I am going to get the tapped Underground Sea with Lorien revealed rather than an island because double black is eventually going to be my game plan here. I'll gain some life. Back to 20. It's like you didn't do anything. And then get Contaminated Aquifer. Dispel. Okay, that's a nice one to back up my Murmuring Mystic with. I got plenty of mana now to ninja with confidence if they have a ninja, which it doesn't seem like they do. End of turn, Deduce. Spellstutter Sprite counters that. Annoying but legal. Gain 2 life. Counterspell. Little late, though. Just a chunky card in general versus what this deck does. Calling it late's not even right. It's just not even good. Campfire washing them out, though. That land's really good. That lets me go for Sweeper with backup next turn or Mystic with backup. Cycling Lorien. Got and immediately deployed an island. And Ninja's one thing I'm worried about, and one of their Monarch creatures is the other one. And I have the counterspell, so that's not immediately deadly. Okay. The longer I can play the game, making land drops and have more stability when I need stability, the better. I even have a way to use that floating 1 mana on my own turn. Beastorm, I'm not going to be dispelling that. I've made it to the point where I can Justice or Mystic with Dispel and Counter spell backup. Lorien revealed. Do I want to test them with a Justice? I don't think I really have to. What happens if I cast Lorien revealed here? I could protect it with Dispel. I'm going to go for Lorien. It's such a big spell if it resolves, and it's not like my clutch counter if it doesn't. All right, just eats a Pyroblast is fine. They have the small ninja, it seems. The Moon Circuit Hacker. That's card advantage, and now I know there's a Spellstutter Sprite in their hand. Ooh, double Justice. Murmuring Mystic crushes this board, though. I think I want to go for Justice. Like Steven Seagal. That's the only way that I'm like Steven Seagal. That guy turned out to be a real piece of shit, huh? Okay, cool. The board is stable. They have to now do stuff. And Spellstutter Sprite redeployed. Immediately re-ninja'd with a better ninja. Fair enough. Oh, yeah. Okay, so how do I manipulate this to work my way? I know they have Spellstutter Sprite, with which both counters Innocent Blood and is an extra body for the next Innocent Blood. If I go for Mystic first and get a Counter War, or I win the Counter War with this spell, then Innocent Blood plays. All right, I am going for Mystic. This is a big showdown, but I've tried to get the game to a spot where this is reasonable to work. Pyroblast, I'm going to counterspell that because I know they could Spellstutter Dispel. 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 How many Dispels do we have? Is there a Spell Pierce? Is there one more 1 mana piece of interaction, or do I have the Big O? I have the Big O, but it didn't generate any material, which means they can hit a Pyroblast or a Scred and just clear this and just be totally good. They pop their Relic in the end step, which means they don't have what they were looking for. This attack is really smart because Mystic dies to Bolt if I block, and they get a free draw if I don't. I think this is too important, and I'm just going to be a big baby and not block. Augur of Bolus. Opponent wants to look at the bottom 3 cards of their deck. Shit! Alright. Well, life is pain. Bad matchups are bad. Alright, I'm gonna cast down this ninja right now. And hopefully they fight over this. Nope, not interested. Innocent Blood is not getting better. They might just Spellstutter this as the Rubbins, but if it gets the Spellstutter out of their hand, I'll take it. Okay, we're back to Campfire means I'm not taking any damage. Augur of Bolas. Counterspell in hand. Man, who put all these 1/3s in Pauper? I'm out here with Evenkar's Justice. Trying to party like it's 2009. They're holding a counterspell. I'm net taking 1 damage per turn. Darkness is an awkward one because the only thing I'd want to Darkness is a Ninja, and if they have a Ninja, it means they have Spell Stutter Sprite because that's what they would pick up to Ninja. Land drop. Busted. Okay, they're just going face with damage now. That's a number of bolts have resolved. I'll gain life at 8. Oh, another one. They're definitely going to counter this. How do I try to bait this out? And I don't. Like, there's not even bait to be baited here. Like, they wouldn't even counter Evenkar's Justice. Who cares? Spell Stutter. Now they might care about Justice. But still not even really. Right, I'm going to gain life now. Do you have all 4 bolts for exact damage? Okay, so I'm at 4. And they can counter... They can counter the Darkness. All right. Woof. Yeah, this feels like I am playing Pauper from a different era. It's like I'm a CB radio trying to communicate with a flat screen TV. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables. I am on the play in round 4. I'm going to keep. I've got access to various colors of mana. I'm hoping for some linear strategy. We were able to collapse the deck that did one thing very focused because we could unfocus it. But the decks that are like all over the place with various different engines and they are capable of dealing damage to you and all this and that, those ones are harder to collapse on a single axis because that's how they're constructed. Okay, I've developed and we're against a Golgari Gardens situation. I'm going to ponder. Bojuka Bog is not a 0 in the matchup. Hitting your land drops is good. I'm going to shuffle this though. I'm not excited about that stuff I've been shown. Double Innocent Blood versus the plant token deck is great though. I'll Spellbomb, sure. This format loves Graveyard Hate. Start gaining life. Grind it out. This one's going to be a long one. Behold the Multiverse. Ponder. I'm looking for lands. And I found one of the best ones I could find, because it is, in fact, multiple land drops. Instep Fanatical Offering. Is this where I want to counter a spell? I kind of do. I think 5 is where they really jack you up with their good spells. Pactal Terror. Alright, whenever this or another artifact enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, sure. I can clean that up with a casual cast down. And I can ponder. Would like a counter spell here. I'm gonna shuffle that. And the Evenkar's Justice. We can't escape it. Viscerator's Insight, sacking the plant. That would have been a reason to Innocent Blood earlier, because it's not that they don't use these plants. This isn't just like they chose to play a tapped basic forest. They are really using the plants. Dismal Backwater. I gain a life. And I could Blood now. I'm going to. Yeah, okay. Just take that plant out. That makes the next Blood better if they resolve a real creature. Okay, the third garden. Shambling Ghast. All right. Innocent Blood, officially terrible. Behold the Multiverse, officially exciting though. Yeah, you can do what you're going to do in response. I wasn't going to stop any of this shit. Lorien Revealed and Mystical Teachings. Top. These are cards. And all I want in life is more cards. Lorien revealed, fire it off. Darkness available, another Lorien. This is a turn they could resolve something big. I think if they ever get the initiative, I can never win. Right, mapping onto Ghast. Revealing Refurbished Familiar. That one I don't like. The Ghast has dealt 2 to me, which is offset by the fire. And we drew a counterspell. Love to see it. I could cycle Lorien now to hit a land drop. I've got Ghast for days with Mystical Teaching. Alright, this Lorien will become a land. And pass the turn. Shambling Ghast getting in. I do not want to play against this card. And end of turn, I can Teachings, which unfortunately is in the spot where Nile Spellbomb can clip it. I'm going to Teachings for Teachings, the old school, classic play. I'll gain 2 life, and if I get to untap with Teachings still in my graveyard, that's awesome. Nice, alright. I am just going to pass the turn here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can Teachings for a 2-drop and play it here, and the Spellbomb has missed its chance to stop me from doing that. End of turn. We're back. Do I want to lock up a counterspell? I could take Behold. Crypt Incursion's not bad, but I have the other Teachings in hand. Stay camping. Yeah, they might just be saving the Spellbomb for when I go for Campfire. Might as well Blood. I mean, here we are. Something large is happening in response. Yeah. Insight, sure. You got a treasure. I only did that because I was about to discard 2 hand size anyway. End step, deduce. I was about to say I'm looking for the second Campfire, and I did find it. Which means I could crack my clue because I have cards to play. Island, second fire. Now I can fire in response to Nile Spellbomb. Right, they floated 4 men in my end step, then passed the turn. Unfortunately, at the start of this match, I was actually using the bathroom, and I lost 90 seconds, which might matter a lot in this matchup. I'm going to cycle Fumes. I don't think that's going to find a home, and I'm not going to camp with the second fire. Foretell this just to get it out of my hand, and pass. If I tap out of both Campfires and they get me with Spellbomb, that could cost me the game. I'm not really interested in that happening. Refurbished Familiar. I can afford it here. I'll discard Darkness and then just cast down the Familiar. They'll probably stack it to some value engine in response, but make it gone. Toxin Analysis. Okay. Just cycling a clue out of that thing is the best you got. I'll take it. Campfire. I could have beheld the Multiverse in the end step there. Honestly, forgot it was there. But it's still there. Turns out it doesn't go away. I just get it forever. Got lots of mana in the pool. Troll of Khazad-dûm. How much focus would this have to lose? Like, quite a bit. I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, Troll resolves. And I'm going to end step Teachings. 4 Teachings. And then, before I even pass priority, Teachings again for cast down. They could Spellbomb me now if they want to take half my deck out. It's not actually a big deal. And I will take this cast down. And then go to my turn. Cast down the Troll. Just be done with it. And pass. Picker Wellspring. I don't think this is where I'm fighting. Decking them is my game plan, so go ahead, draw cards. Shambling Ghast, you got it. I'm going to camp. I'm going to Behold. Innocent Blood to the bottom. Deduce to the top. Just cast it. I'm not going to crack the clue because I don't need it, and I'm probably going to have to discard a hand size anyway. There is a third Campfire in my deck somewhere. Okay, how do I actually have 7 cards in my hand when I pass the turn? I don't get to play Dimir Aqueduct is the answer to that question. Okay, pass. Shambling Ghast, getting a taste, taking one of my 32 life points away. Disgusting. Camping. Only camping once. I'm not going to draw cards. My hand's already full. Keep playing islands. Pass. Ghast coming in again. Gaining 2 life. Deduce. Alright. I'm going to float a blue. Play Aqueduct. Put Island back in my hand. And then I have to decide what I'm going to do. I could just cast Avankar's Justice, but I kind of want to buy it back. No, it's fine. I'll just cast it without buyback. It clears the Ghast. Deals 2 to my opponent. At least put them below their starting life total. Moral victory. Okay, pass the turn. I will gain 2 life from 1 campfire. Bojuka Bog, what's up? That will be good at some point, but I'm kind of into the idea of teachings for Crypt Incursion to hit this graveyard before they get to use it. Or, like, I guess, why do I need to set up a blowout when I don't actually need life? So yeah, I'll just bog you. That sounds pretty good. Delete your deck. Some people might think this is like watching paint dry. I think this is like watching an artist paint. Whatever the opposite of paint drying is, this is it. We are at peak Magic the Gathering. Okay, Dismal Backwater on top of my deck. I will take any land drop and pass the turn. That 3rd campfire still in there somewhere. Ichor Wellspring, please do. Blood Fountain, whatever. Immediately blooding away a cast down. Yeah, that won't help you here. And end step, fire. Drawing Lorien Revealed, which I think I just want to cycle for the last island in the deck and be happy with that. Fanatical Offering, drawing 3 cards. Go for it. I have 11 cards left in my deck. One of them's Campfire. I have to respect Graveyard Hate out of my opponent. I know the Nile Spellbomb's in play and I have it covered. Crypt Rats. That is not going to kill me. You know what? Sure. I have so much more life than you. Okay, they're mapping onto Crypt Rats, Refurbished Familiar on top of the deck. I'm more worried about that. End of turn, I'm going to deduce. That keeps the same number of cards in my hand. There's the 3rd campfire. I gain 2 life, and then go to my turn. Opponent's got to clean up, dump to cast down. I've got the 3rd campfire. The game is on. They're Eviscerator, Inciting, Wellspring in the end step. 15 cards left in their deck. I'm going to cast Darkness here, because I don't think it's getting better, and my hand size is part of my issue. If they ever activate Crypt Rats for even 1 Diabolic Edict, then kills the rat, they can do 12 at once with this Crypt Rats. I don't actually want Refurbished Familiar involved in the game. Maybe I should have just cracked a bunch of clues and let them have that. All right. I'm going to gain 2 life with 1 campfire, and then I'll crack my clues. Land, Aqueduct. Okay. I'll go to my turn. Opponent's cleaning up again. I've got 8 cards in my hand. I guess what I'm going to do here is cast this Diabolic Edict. Or no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to Dimir Aqueduct, picking up Bojuka Bog. And with my floating mana, I can activate Campfire. Is it time to actually camp? I think it might be. Yeah, I'm gonna Campfire. Then they didn't Nile Spellbomb in response. Interesting. All right, deal. I'll take it. And I'm going to discard this Swamp to hand size. So my deck is a full deck with all my stuff in it again. Toxin Analysis. Okay. So you can gain a bunch of life here and kill all your own creatures. I don't care about that. All right, an Elbow Tap with Crypt Rats is happening. It's a rat for 13. Okay, everybody takes 13. You're at 58 life. That was never my win condition. And pass the turn. Discard Swamp. This is definitely going to count as a decking win. Put it on the bounty sheet. Pactal Terror. I can kill that. That's fine. I'm going to Edict in response to its ETB trigger, just to make sure this happens before any other mess happens. They have this Blood Fountain that I'm going to have to work through, but Bojuka Bog will be okay. Oh, wait, it's time for Crypt Incursion. Let's go. It was that teachings that we've been sitting on for our entire lives. Crypt Incursion. Incur your crypt. I even still have 6 mana up, so they can't bomb my teachings out. All right, Blood Fountain fizzles. I'm at 43. You're at 59. They're probably just playing it out for a clock at this point, which is perfectly reasonable, I do say. I'll put Counterspell in my hand. That probably should have been teachings. Now I'm just trying to play fast. I don't think I can actually lose. But nor can I actually win. That's the joke. All right, chip it. Blood Fountain, fine. Camp. Camp. All right, we're just managing clock at this point. I'm actually going to camp in their upkeep because this is the faster way to do this. That lets me use my MTGO shortcuts better. You've got 0/1 plant. Drawing all gas here, because that's all that's left. Suffocating fumes, kill the plant. Gain my life. Pass the turn. I don't even need to gain the life. I should stop doing that. That's just clicks I don't need to spend. Pass, discard, lose, focus. I think focus has been lost. It probably is a counterspell, but it would take me 45 seconds to replicate it correctly. Right, discarding, lose, focus in the end step. It's just about clicking through my opponent's final 8 cards without wasting too much time. Pass, discard a cast down. That should have been Lorien revealed. I'm all over the place. It doesn't matter. We're going to get a decking bounty. And this game is not actually losable. 6 cards left over there. Refurbished Familiar. Okay. To be fair, I have countered all of those up to this point. I'll discard Muddle the Mixture on that one. Then I'll cast it down. I should not even be casting it down. I should be using Campfire to wash it out. It doesn't matter that it's in play. But in the interest of having time for game 2, and heaven forbid game 3, I don't think I care about this either, but here's a counterspell. I will not be casting that to Deuce. Blood Fountain is happening. Getting back these cards again, sure. Crypt Rats resolves, I don't care. End of turn, cast down. You don't have 55 black mana. 55 black mana, 55 swamps, 55 Vault of Whispers. Okay. We both take 15. You got me. Pass. 3 cards left in their deck. Yeah, they're on full F6 mode at this point. They know they can't win. I know they can't win. Everyone knows they're dead. Bactal Terror. Resolves. Cast it down. Refurbish Familiar. Fine. I'll discard Evankar's Justice. I don't care. Isle Spellbomb. Also fine. I'm just fully F6'd. I'm not even pretending to do anything here. They will get no more seconds off my clock. 1 card left in your deck. Innocent Blood forces them to make a choice on my turn. And pass. A decking victory! Yeah, this was a bad time to use the bathroom for 90 seconds at the start of the round. Okay. They have some artifact stuff going on. We saw their whole deck, and I didn't see Avenging Hunter. But that doesn't mean it's not in the sideboard. These Golgari soup decks tend to bleed technology. They use their graveyard a bit with the Blood Fountains. I think I want 1 Justice in, not 2. Suffocating Fumes is like mid. Murmuring Mystic's going to be the sideboard juke of the century here. Innocent Bloods versus the deck with 0/1 plant tokens. Like crazy. I'm not super interested in. Rotten Reunion. Yeah, they're not really that much of a graveyard deck. Yeah, the Crypt Incursion, the Bajuka Bog. I think that's where I want to be. Teachings was phenomenal. Teachings for Teachings happened multiple times that match. Is Darkness important? I think maybe 1 in the tutor package is fine, but getting blitzed out by combat is not what I'm worried about in this matchup. Diabolic Edict. Pretty poor. But they do have the Trolls. And if the game goes long enough, I do have the 1 Sweeper to make room for the 1 Edict. No, I'm not messing with that. All right, here we go. Dispel hits removal and their various sacrifice an artifact to draw cards things. Is that better than Steel Sabotage? Do I want to split thereof? I think Dispel's probably better than the second Muddle. All right, I'm going to go 2 Dispel, 3 Steel Sabotage. And hopefully my opponent boarded out all the removal and I just clown them with Murmuring Mystic very quickly. That's what I want out of this game that we're playing. Keep. And I'm going to click fast. Oh, wow. Do they not even want to play the game? They just clicked through their first turn. All right. Maybe that was a genuine misclick and not a tilt, show off, whatever. Like if they think I actually have no win conditions, then maybe just F6ing my clock out would be a plan. That would be such a dick move. Clown shoes behavior, but that doesn't appear to be what's actually happening. All right, Aqueduct, pick up Island, gain my life, pass with Steel Sabotage up. I also have Dispel. Sure, I'll take it. That's why I brought it in. And they just passed with 3 lands in play. I love that. Camping. And unfortunately, this deck does have large bursts of damage in the late game, so I do have to do these passive campfires. Yeah, that's fine. Justice is going to sweep this up. Camp. I actually don't want to tap out of Counterspell, just in case they do have Avenging Hunter as a sideboard plan. I want to deal with rats without tapping out. Give up on the 2-for-1. We got to take it. Pactol Terror. That's an artifact. Counter that. Just going to start camping to get F6 value. Down to 30. Got room to ponder. I'd love to just see 3 lands off of a ponder, but I will take 1 if that's what you got for me. With a removal spell and a counter spell on top of the deck. I could end step Teachings for Teachings and get the chain rolling, but I kind of want to draw Cast Down just in case they have a troll. I'll interact with that. And now I'll just camp twice. I'll take my draw, pass. Shambling Ghast, doing its grim work. Teachings for Teachings here. Gain my life. That shuffles away the counter spell, just trying to hit land drops. That qualifies. Pass. If they have Graveyard Hate right now, they could clip a Teachings where I can't flash it back. Sad. Alright, I'm not going to counterspell that though. And last game, they didn't actually blow up Teachings with Spellbomb. They basically never used the Spellbomb that they had. They're gaining a bunch of life here. Okay, they've decided it's time to Spellbomb. I only had 5 mana up. I couldn't flash that back anyway. In the market for Murmuring Mystic. It's in there somewhere. Duress. Interesting. Huh. That's actually a decision. Alright, it resolves. If they take Teachings, I could flash it back. If they take any of the other cards, I can tutor for them with Teachings. And like I said, I'm just worried about them resolving one big asshole. Alright, they took the Justice. That's the one thing they couldn't collapse, or my Teachings can't replicate. But that's fine, because it's also the worst card in my hand. Teachings for Teachings. We love Dirtles. And I love camping. I pass with Flashback Teachings mana available. They've got 3 cards in hand. Probably still reeling from that early Dispel on the Fanatical Offering. Pactol Terror. Okay. I have Cast Down in my hand. This resolves. All right, you've got a Colony Garden, End Step, Mystical Teachings. Get paid while I can. I think I want this one to be a Behold the Multiverse. Right, Eviscerator's Insight, draw some cards. Snuck that one in on me. I would like to Behold. I don't feel like I'm in any danger of losing this game, but I do want to make sure I can win it, which I didn't have to think about last round, but I do have to think about now. I am casting down the Pactol. That thing hits for real damage, even though the campfires do wash it out. In paper, I would just let the campfires do their job there. Toxin Analysis. Okay, you gain a life. You got a clue. Wellspring is fine. Refurbish Familiar. I don't like this. And we're on a turn where they can't follow up with something worse, so I will just counter that. I should have used Lose Focus when it was higher impact. Immediately drew another counterspell. Life is easy. Eviscerating some Insight. Go ahead. And I'm going to Behold the Multiverse in the end step. Hoping to see Murmuring Mystic. I'll actually just keep both these cards, though. I do want to hit land drops. And Ponder is a lot of looks at Murmuring Mystic. Ponder. Another Ponder. Steel Sabotage. I'm going to shuffle that. Found a counterspell. I guess I should have taken the Ponder and then used Teachings as a shuffle to get rid of the cards I didn't want. Definitely being in the gravity chamber of having to do this with 6 minutes on my clock is a different skill that was tested than the first game. I'm almost out of Teachings, but let's go get the last one. Teachings for Teachings. Ponder, cool. I can use the trick I just taught myself. Crypt Incursion, Bojuka Bog. That's a pretty good land drop I could hit here. Right, don't shuffle, play Bojuka Bog. Zap your shit before it gets any better. I'll continue taking -3 damage per turn. Crypt Rats. I don't care. You're not killing me from 50 with that. Alright, that one I care about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get this Teachings off while I can. And I think here I want a Behold the Multiverse. Just keep looking. What I want in the world is out there somewhere. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is better. Orion revealed. 7 cards in hand, pass. Now I'm taking 2. Camp. camp, behold, darkness, deduce. Darkness sucks, deduce can stay, dispel, float with Bojuka Bog, pick up Bojuka Bog, deduce. Can't actually make my hand smaller here. Just spinning my wheels for a sorcery of any variety. There's one. Okay, Spellbomb. And I have to discard a card here. It's gonna be Loose Focus. Yep, I missed several chances to cast that card for any sort of profit. 17 cards left in my deck, and it includes both of the Murmuring Mystics. But I'm glad they're in there. Bog you. And I'm going to cast down this rat in combat. Maybe I should have cast down then Bog so they can't recur it. But I have Crypt Incursion. We're good. I cast down the rats. I should be tapping Dimir Aqueduct for this instead of the two basics. It's basically the same thing, except one gives me more options and the other doesn't. Behold. Steel Sabotage at the bottom, Ponder the top. 14 cards left in my deck. I will crack a clue. And I'll camp. I did bring them in, right? I am playing to an actual out. Okay. They are in there, allegedly. Campfire from hand. Ponder. Looking at 1/4 of my deck and still missing. Shuffle. Jesus. All right, I got one. And now we can actually win. Aqueduct, pick up Bog again. And game on. Duress. I'm going to counterspell that. Duress. Well, I can't counter that any further. So it's going to resolve. I do have one more Mystic in my deck. They took Dispel. Does that mean they have a cast down here? They do indeed. And for that, I would like to Teachings. Do I actually even have an out here? I don't think I want a Teachings, actually. I'm going to Crypt Incursion. This gains me 3 life, makes an extra bird. I'll take it. I might have actually had a Dispel in my deck to Teachings for. I don't know. I'm playing so fast that don't rely on any of this to be good or accurate. I'll take damage from Shambling Ghast. I don't want it trading with my entire hard-earned army here. I crack a clue. I'm trying to get to that last Mystic before I start doing all the other stuff that I want to do. I crack a clue. Mystic, where are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're in revealed. 5 cards left in my deck. There's the other Mystic. Contaminated Aquifer. And I think I can be more careful here about this one. I'm going to Campfire this turn. Yeah, I'm just going to use the big campfire, or one of the campfires now for the big effect. And then that gives me a whole universe of things to Teaching for. Another Duress. All right, well, taking Teachings isn't that good here. 2 minutes on my clock. I really need this Murmuring Mystic to get to fucking work. Took the Teachings. Oh no. Troll of Cosnum. Okay, don't care. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. And I will not be using any of these other cards this turn. I'm just going to go to my turn. Play Mystic. Cast down the Troll. Drawing a counterspell here is sick. I'm killing the Troll before I Bojuka Bog, so it's gone. And gotta deal lots of damage really fast. I might just cycle off this Darkness this turn for a bird. 3 cards in opponent's hand. End step Teachings. This is just going to get Counterspell. All right, they did find something in response, but I had one already. Bang, bang. Muddle that. Bird. Teachings. Get Counterspell. Darkness in the end step just for a bird. Take it where we could get it at this point. I think I'm actually kind of cooking here. I don't want to have to play around Toxin Analysis, so I'm not attacking with the Mystic. Deduce. Just in case there's any sorcery speed stuff I want to do here. 1 minute is plenty of time to deal 12 damage with this engine cooking. Lorien. Bang, 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 bang. Counterspell in hand. Pass a turn. 2 counterspells in my hand. Exactly enough bird. No, this is a 6, not a 9. All right, not enough birds. I need some more spells. Vault of Whispers, 48 seconds on the clock. I'm not blocking this ever with anything. End of turn. Behold. I would really like to have enough birds to win right now before we go to my turn. Bottom top, take the counter spell. Cast down the plant. Did we get there? Oh no. They have a play. Toxin analysis on the plant. Remember when I said I wanted to play around that? Good job, me. And that looks like 12 damage by my count. 25 seconds on the clock. Who needs 1 second more? Boom! The nuts! All right, hell yeah. Outground one of these modern Pauper grindy decks. And unlocked the Deck You bounty. Hell yeah, on to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in the final round. Positive record on the line. The no-lander. Lorien Reveals only count as lands when you have the first one to get it started. This one is a 2-lander if we count Lorien Revealed, which I do. I'm going to keep this and bottom probably Teachings. I think that one's the farthest off. I'm just going to be trying to deduce my way into some land drops and play the game here. Let's hope for a linear strategy that I can dismantle. Raven Inspector. Well, that's not good based on my previous experience. A cycle for Island, which will cast Ponder. And I did find a land and some counterspells. We gotta take them. It's not the most exciting land, but it is a land. An Inspector gets a taste. Another Inspector. And Innocent Blood and Diabolic Edict look real bad versus this deck. Okay, do I want to deduce my way forward? I think I have to. Yeah, just bog, no graveyard, pass. Holding up Counterspell could be good for me, and deducing is going to be good for me because I need land drops and sweepers. Where just Diabolic Edicting one of these generic 1/2s that's going to eventually be worth a card is not where I want to be in life. Whenever another creature enters, you gain a life, sure. Thrilling Discovery. Gain 2 life, and you may discard 2 cards if you do draw 3 cards. What the hell is this? Whatever this is, I don't want to find out where it's going. Alright, passing with the same... hold up. Should have cast Innocent Blood. Alright, that was a mistake. Another one of these. I don't know what this does, but I don't want to find out. Yeah, I definitely should have Innocent Blooded. This is just a Lunark that's hitting me for no reason. Okay, deduce in the main. Found Behold. Alright. I'm out of counterspells. They have missed a couple land drops after having their discoveries be unthrilled. Faithless Looting. Alright, one of these is going to work. Let's find out what this graveyard business that's happening is. Battle Screech. Yep, that one makes sense. I'm familiar with that card. Straight up screeching it. Yeah, the Innocent Blood that I didn't cast 2 turns ago would have actually stopped that Battle Screech from happening. Okay, so this is the, like, Rally the Peasants Blitz deck. I am looking for any of my sweepers here. And I do play a number of them. Darkness, also likely to blow them out on a clutch turn. Got a lot of good hits, if I can hit them. I'm going to deduce Campfire. Kind of a mess. I can crack 2 clues, or I could Campfire plus Innocent Blood. Alright, this is so embarrassing, but I'm going to Innocent Blood and cast Campfire. Got him! Worst screenshots ever. Alright, good chance I die this turn, but if I don't, I'm drawing pretty live. I'm actually glad this is this deck and not a Glint Hawk deck. Doesn't help my chances in this game, but I would rather play against a deck where my sweepers are good and I can, make good decisions if I'm capable of. Okay, here comes damage. All right, it was just the damage as advertised. They didn't have a squad pump spell. Here's the Phantom from the graveyard. All right, clue token. Find a sweeper. Cast down, not a sweeper. Lose focus. Well, that could hit a pump spell. Cracking their own clues. They're attacking me down to 4 with no help here. I will just go to 4 and end step Behold the Multiverse if I could get away with it. If I have to interact with a pump spell, obviously, I have to do that. Faithless Looting from the graveyard. Okay. The Boros aggro deck has 7 cards in their hand right now, and I don't. Embarrassing. Prismatic Strands. Okay, that only matters if they have an untapped creature, which they don't. Well, right now is my window to cook. These are not what I want. Got rid of them. Mystical Teachings can get darkness and buy me a turn. Okay, I guess I have to play to the darkness into the sweeper line. But now they have the ability to leave back a tapped creature or show me the prismatic strands from their hand to blow out my justice if I draw one. All right, well, they don't even have to do anything here. It's already lethal. There's no pump spell to commit. All right, darkness, ha! Suffocating Fumes leaves 3 creatures behind as 0/1s, which means a squad pump spell still beats me. Faithless Looting, other strands in the graveyard, and an untapped white creature. Who could ever beat that? Okay, counterspell. How do I do this? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage in play. 2 campfires can put me to 8. Okay, campfire, Innocent Blood. I am on board at 2. Dead to any spell. A lightning bolt, any pump spell, a mana short of counterspell to protect my delicate life bubble. Yeah, that Innocent Blood that I missed casting earlier has been worth at least 3 life this game, plus the Battle Screech turn was enabled by that. That was just a misclick that I was not able to navigate in time, and Rally the Peasants, there it is. Okay. I got the linear pairing I was looking for. Murmuring Mystic makes blockers. They have red flashback spells. Darkness definitely comes in. But the spells are white. They just cost red to flashback. This is mostly a mono-white deck. Diabolic Edict sucks ass, as we saw. A Dispel could be important. It could hit one of the pump spells or prismatic strands, both of which are really important here. Muddle, I think, comes out. Lose Focus comes out. I just turned a bunch of counterspells into different counterspells. Innocent Blood, please. Fuck off. Rotten Reunion. Decayed Zombies can't block, which is what's really important. I guess hitting a Prismatic Strands or a Battle Screech could be relevant. They clearly care about their graveyard in some capacity. Probably not enough to bring in Nile Spellbomb. Crypt Incursion, I'll take the Burst of Life. They have the Disturb Soul Warden as well. Yeah, there's quite a few action cards for Rotten Reunion. Yeah, I think I'm going to rely on sweepers and not... I still have 1 Innocent Blood in. I could go to 0 and just bring in this Nile Spellbomb, which I'm also not a huge believer in. I think these are both just mid cards with mid situations we could imagine them being somewhat useful in. I guess I will leave in 1 Innocent Blood. If I'm going to leave in a blood, should it be Edict instead so I can tutor for it? When would I tutor for this? I think mana efficiency is worth more. This is what I'm doing. Now I know what I'm up against. I can keep a better hand. The one of Innocent Blood present, obviously. This hand is pretty slow to get off the ground. It does have the lands. I will keep this. Potentially against medical advice, but I'm after it. This hand can deduce and then foretell and eventually cast Behold off of 2 lands. That's the tiebreaker here for me. Lorien Revealed can get the Black Source. Start turning on the sweepers. Here's the Inspector. They play a lot of those. Not a surprising turn 1. Mystic is here. That is... I have an endgame now. Just have to get there. Is that discard spell or sorcery? Alright, well, we're not going to find out. I didn't even think about the thrilling discovery when I boarded in Dispel. Alright, this stings, but okay. If I'm going to spend mana to set up a draw, would I rather see 5 cards next turn or 1 card now? I think it's Foretell, the Behold. I'm missing a land drop. Horrible. Tapping out, horrible. But here we are. Just trying to get to this Murmuring Mystic or a sweeper before I'm dead. A Squadron Hawk, Perilous Landscape. This is just a fetch land. Big Rips, Campfire. Okay. I think I would like to look at 4 cards and hit a land drop right now. This is what I set up. Oh god. Cast down on the bottom. I actually need the 7 cards Justice, but I also need a land. Hurts. Alright, Bajuka Bog, got your ass. we're in. And I am going to discard a Mystical Teachings to hand size. That one's useful in the graveyard. Luckily, this deck does take some time to set up. And like mono red, I would be dead already. As soon as I miss that land drop, it's over. Okay, they are taking the opportunity to hit me for 9 when I'm tapped out of Counterspell, which is one of the things I was playing towards. All right, Ponder, got to find that land. Darkness. Oh god. I don't think I can hold on to this. Shuffle it. Yeah! I hit my next 2 land drops all at once. Scoreboard. Innocent Blood. Let's take out one of those Squadron Hawks. Who's laughing now? And I can dispel Rally the Peasants if they flash it back this turn. Just trying to absorb damage where I can. We're starting to turn the corner here, actually. Especially if they go for Rally this turn. Hell yeah. And they missed a play for that. Okay. Dropping Battle Screech. Interesting. Okay. I am online here. My options are play Murmuring Mystic with Dispel up, or I could spend this turn teaching. I could play Campfire, Deduce plus Clue. Teachings would get Suffocating Fumes here, which would actually cook their whole turn of development. Okay, I'm actually just going to pass with Teachings available. Like if they go Squadron Hawk into Battle Screech this turn, Teaching for Fumes plays extremely well into that. If they try to just like burn me out with a combat trick right now, I have the Dispel. All right, a Hawk is in, and end step Teachings. I'll get the Fumes. Suffocating Fumes. Let's go. If they have Lightning Bolt right now, I have Dispel. Ponder. We got to chase these land drops. And, all right. Darkness plus my next land drop is cool. All right. Darkness on top of the deck. No shuffle. Dimir Aqueduct. Picking up this island again. And pass the turn. I have Suffocating Fumes plus Dispel available here. I would Fumes now, except that Novice Inspector will survive, and any creature with toughness that could pick up a buff on their turn is bad news for me. So I have to Fumes on their turn to also take the power off of that thing. Sad. All right, well, dispel that. Okay. The final moments are upon us. Somebody will soon be deceased. All right, I guess before combat, Fumes. If they have something that buffs toughness as well, like a +1/+1 the squad, there is a spell that goes +2/+2 to the squad, which I lose to here. And with 7 cards in hand, I think they are, in good shape to have. And whatever they need here, it's live. They have Lightning Bolt plus the ability to give Novice Inspector a single power. I'm fuming before attacks just in case there's like an attacking creatures get, or something with Blood Rush, or I don't know. But I'm just trying to play around as much as I can. Inspector's still attacking. Is this for the lols or for 2 damage? All right, it is for 2 damage. I'm dead to the next Lightning Bolt forever. However, I know. All right, so I can go Murmuring Mystic, Campfire plus Activate, hold up Darkness or Dispel. Campfire plus Activate. All right, did we stabilize? That was a big corner turn right there. They still got 7 cards in hand though, but their only attacker has to get through a 1/5. I've got 2 Teachings in the graveyard. If I untap and I'm not dead, the world is my oyster. I'm gonna block this shit so fast. I literally can't play around that. So the attack is not even really like a sick bluff attack or anything. It's just I can't do it. All right, Dispel. Counter that. Couldn't play around it and had the answer. The best of all worlds. And now my hand is nice. I am going to pass with Counterspell, Fog, Campfire Activation, Teachings out of the graveyard, Deduce plus Clue, any combination of those things I just listed available. I think the corner's been turned. My life total being at 4 is naturally of some concern to me, but I'll figure it out. Life total won't be at 4 for very long. Right, Thraben Inspector unlocks Battle Screech from the graveyard, but it is my intention to outmuscle Battle Screech with my various birds. I'm something of a bird myself. Okay, so here I can go deduce, double block one of these, or I could just block each one once. I would kind of like to impact the board though, so I will deduce and double block one, single block the other. Oh no, not a spell. What will I do? Pew, 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 pew. Okay, that was actually sick. And now I get bonus birds. I could kill both of these things in combat. Drew a removal spell. We know one of their 4 cards in hand is still Squadron Hawk. Block, 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 block. Reduce you to rubble. That's a different card. That's not in anybody's decks. But it's also the experience of playing an aggro deck into Murmuring Mystic. Sweet. I'm going to gain my 2 life, draw my clue card. I don't think there's anything in Pauper for a single white at instant speed that can kill a 1/5. Hit my land drop. That's all I want in the world. Justice. All right. Well, Justice is nice if they have a big combo turn, but right now it just takes 1/3 of my life total and kills 2 of my birds and 1 of their 3-man inspectors. I'm not going to do that. I'll save it for when I've been camping for a little while and my life total's higher. This is a sorcery. I will not respond to this. Back when I missed my 3rd land drop, my opponent, playfully said, pro tip, don't miss your land drops. And here we are on turn 10, and they only have 3 lands in play to my stabilized battlefield. So we are having a good-hearted exchange in the chat about that. Okay, end step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Teachings from the bin. I think I want to just grab a counterspell and make sure my Murmuring Mystic doesn't die. And I can figure out anything else that's going to happen after that. Like all good things flow through Murmuring Mystic here. And guess what? We're in attack mode. 1. I could probably be a little more bullish with these attacks with the number of instants in my hand, but I'm going to settle into the spirit of the game here. There's double Battle Screech in the graveyard. They did discard 1. They did discard the Squadron Hawk as well. Novice Inspector. Blue token cracked. They do have red mana open right now, which means I have to be careful about how I spend mana. I don't want my Murmuring Mystic to get red blasted right now. Do I want Lorien? Am I ever going to cast that? I mean, I'm not far away from casting that, actually. I will just take both of these. I love a land drop. I can gain my life without tapping out of Counterspell. Then it's my turn. I'm going to attack with 2 birds this time. I'm going to leave back a bird to make sure they understand that double block is on the table. Cracking a clue. It is interesting that the Boros deck that has missed 8 land drops is 32 cards into their deck, and the control deck that is fully functioning is 31 cards into their deck. So we've seen similar amounts of cards this game. It's just a testament to how all the colors in Pauper, how good they are at grinding. All right, opponent has found lands, now discarding 2 planes to Thrilling Discovery. 3-man Inspector number 3. This unlocks Battle Screeches. Inspector number 4 unlocks double Battle Screech. There is not a Strands in the graveyard, which is good. I wonder if they would have boarded those out. I'm going to Teachings for Teachings. Like, if they think my interaction is -1 effects, Strands might not be that good. They haven't seen the Evankar's Justice. I don't think I showed them that game 1. And if I did, then I forgot. Teachings for Teachings. Go to the fire, back up to 12. Remember when I was at 2 this game? That was cool. Okay, 8 cards in my hand. I think the disciplined play here is to just cycle Lorien Revealed and hit my land drop, even though it's incredibly unsexy. Some birds, get to attack. Yeah, one of the problems with Justice is when I cast it, I lose all my birds, and that's my win condition. Lightning Bolt my face, bold. All right, I'm at 12. I can take it. I'm not going to spend a counterspell on that. Battle Screech from hand. Stay screeching. I'm ready for that shit. I have more birds than you, and also a sweeper in my hand. All right, Screech from the graveyard. There's still 2 more Screeches in there. How screechy are we going to get? Maximum screeching or medium screeching? Well, they know that I play Suffocating Fumes and that there's a Mystical Teachings in my hand, so they can't just go nuts here. All right, Teachings in the end step. And, oh, have I used my Fumes already? I did. Okay, so they don't know that I don't have more sweepers. Cool. Good job, me. That was smart. What do I want here? Do I just want another counterspell? Do I want another teachings? I want another teachings. We figured it out. All right, go camping. And I'm about to sweep anyway, so these cast downs are just full nothings. I'm going to attack with all of my birds, then I'm going to sweep. This attack is showing sweeper just like all day. And because I have the other justice in my hand, I'm not going to vibe this back. I'm just going to cast it for its action. I'm going to kill all of your things and leave Murmuring Mystic behind on my side. Emotion Rally. Creatures you control get +1 till end of turn. Okay. The Novice Inspector, or the various inspectors still die. Or the various inspectors survive. The birds all die. And that's fine. I've got another where that came from. I was not playing around this one, though I am aware that it exists. Okay, they're still going face with the damage, rather than trying to finish off Murmuring Mystic. I respect it. How much mana am I going to need next turn? I have Darkness, Counterspell, Cast Down. All right, I can gain life now and still do many things to keep myself alive. Yeah, this is a card that I know about in my brain somewhere, and Pauper players would be dialed in on it. I'm just not super in tune with Pauper right now. Okay, I think I should block first and then pass priority and see if they want to try to pump the squad or anything here before I Darkness. They could just pass and enjoy their 3 damage. Okay, they are rallying the peasants. I am preventing all combat damage this turn. That worked out nicely. There is a card in Pauper called Flaring Pain, which is damage can't be prevented this turn, but I have Counterspell if they have that. Okay, I don't want to have to sweep if I don't have to, so I'm going to start spending these cast downs and pushing damage with my birds. Crypt Incursion. How many creatures are in there? Probably not many. Oh, all those Squadron Hawks, I forgot about those. Oh, this is actually trillions of creatures. They're so fucked. All right, that's going to be way more life than they're going to be able to deal to me. I attack with my birds. I'll gain life now and pass. Crypt Incursion only exiles creatures. So it's not like incurring now would take out the battle screeches that are still in there. There's one left. Perilous Landscape. Might as well attack here. And I'm going to cast down because that gives me even more life when I incur the crypt. All right, cast down, double block. Red in the pool. Red Blast. Counterspell, of course. They knew I had that, so they might have been setting this up for many turns. The double blast. Okay. How do I get the most here? I should cast down the creature I didn't block, which gives me an extra bird and an extra creature in the graveyard when I Crypt Incursion, which gives me another bird. Okay, that happens, and then we incur the crypt, gain roughly 30 life, make another bird, and they have successfully navigated my Murmuring Mystic, though it has left 6 creatures behind and I'm at 37 life. All right, the race is on. They're dead in 2. Wow, disrespectful. Oh my god. All right, just immediately top decking the other Mystic. Do I even want my opponent to know I play 2 Mystics? That's actually interesting. That might matter, and do I think they can win this game, I guess is the question. I guess I should just play correctly and not be a big idiot, not be greedy. Okay, pass. Just scooping to this follow-on. Yeah, it is pretty demoralizing when you spend all of your cards to defeat your opponent's powerful sideboard card, and then they just have the other one. And they don't know. I could have 4. I could have 1. But now they know I have at least 2. Okay, so Dispel is quite good in the matchup. The Rally the Peasants, the various tricks, the Prismatic Strands, the Remotion Rallies, all of that plays. Thrilling Discovery is not an instant, but I'm less worried about that now that I have all my graveyard hate in. We have seen Red Blast and Lightning Bolt in their white deck. Probably having 1 Blue Blast in, even just a tutor for it with Teachings would make sense. What would I cut? I'd probably be looking at this Rotten Reunion or the one of Innocent Blood. Yeah, I think Innocent Blood is just bad enough that I don't need to mess around with that. I'll bring in 1 Blue Blast, because their deck is mostly white, but there are situations that get solved specifically by this. Though on the draw, reacting to their... I'm kind of more and more respectful of innocent blood here the more we play, because keeping that critical mass of untapped white creatures low is relevant here. 3 sweepers, 4 cast downs, plus the mystics. All right, I'm just going to go 1 blue blast. The innocent bloods are out. I'm off it, even though I think it is better on the draw than it is on the play. All right, how about a playable hand? My first 2 lands are lined up. This is basically the same thing I did last game, where I have 2 lands plus Behold the Multiverse, and then a clunky handful of nonsense. I am going to keep, though. I'm on the draw. I have the black lined up. Oh no, opponent's on a mull to 4. Wow, they went to 3. Yeah, they said they've only seen 1 land in 35 cards. This is an unfortunate... we got a GG, yeah. All right, well, that's an unfortunate way to end a match that was pretty exciting. But keeping 7 is broken. What can I say? All right, a positive record with win conditionless Dimir. But the cons of this deck, obviously, you're working really hard for a draw engine that is worse than the easy draw engine that Pauper just has access to right now. The various artifact stuff, whether it's the Chorus Skyfisher pick it up, put it down thing, or the stack your artifacts or creatures to draw 2 thing, or decks that play both, like that Orzhov player we played against. Like I mentioned, I don't think we can ever beat the initiative game 1. If my opponent gets the initiative, we're going to lose, unless they have 2 cards left in their deck when they do it. The Monarch, we literally cannot take it game 1, which means we have to... I mean, the plan doesn't change. If your opponent becomes the Monarch, you still are decking them. It happens twice as fast, but you have to answer twice as many cards per turn. So depending on what the game looks like when they take the Monarch, that could either help or hurt us, but assume it's hurtful and that we have no way to take it back. With all of those various 1-card engines existing, it's definitely a commitment to the meme of no win cons to not just have 2 Thorn of the Black Rose in this deck. Like, that's just full commitment to the silly thing we're doing of no win cons. Like, you could easily cut 1 Emenkar's Justice for 1 Thorn of the Black Rose. Like, you can find another cut somewhere and play 2, and this deck probably improves dramatically. Just a death touch blocker when combat matters, having the initiative, being able to take the initiative just by resolving Thorn when someone else has it. All that stuff matters, but I'm not here to break balls about the meme. Campfire, moving on to positives about the deck. Campfire is a very cool card, and I've never played with this card before. I think this is the first time I've ever cast it. I think I played against it once a little while ago on the channel, and I thought it was just a life gain station. I started to read the second ability, and I just blacked out when it said put all commanders, and I blah, 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 blah. All right, that doesn't do anything. And then I ended up getting cooked by the actual text of that, which is shuffle your graveyard into your library. But this card is cool. It's one of these dumbass cards that only came out in 1 set and was really hard to get. And even though it's a fringe playable common, it's still like $20 on Magic Online. What are you going to do? But yeah, Campfire, pretty cool card to build a deck around. Mystical Teachings, absolute delight. The games where we got into the space where we had 5, 6, 8 mana, and then we weren't immediately dead, and Teachings could start doing stuff, that was immaculate vibes from there. End of the day, if your opponent is trying to do something very specific, like our 2 white opponents, we had 1 go tall white opponent in round 1 with the heroic deck. Then we had the go wide deck with the Rally the Peasants in the final round, who we didn't actually get a game 3 against, but we could at least figure out where they were going and head them off to their lethal line. And then the Golgari deck, although that deck has a bunch of engines and stuff in it, it is trying to get to a spot where it's activating Crypt Rats for 1 million and killing you with that. And we were able to predict, and Crypt Rats never mattered, even though it happened several times. And then the other 2 decks where they were just like drawing cards, countering spells, had multiple engines going, hard to collapse the various things that the Orzhov deck has going on, hard to resolve your important spells through the fairy stuff. Ninjas are a nightmare for this deck. If you don't have the cast down immediately when it shows up, then you're basically never going to answer it, and it's going to bury you. It's basically like them having the Monarch, but you also lose 2 life every turn. At pros and cons, but totally viable. This is not how I would build blue-black Teachings if I was trying to win the most matches, but if you want to clickbait title like No WinCon Dimir Teachings, then we are in the right place. Jorman, thank you for sharing this with us. We got one bounty. We got to deck someone. Never played against Red or Spy, so it didn't even have a chance at the other bounties, but that's okay. I'll take what I could get. This bounty challenge is hereby concluded. Everyone, like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.